Alright, is it recording?
Yes.
Who's doing the intro this time?
I mean, this is the third one, so it's kind of going back to... I guess it's Shad's turn.
Okay. Shad! Greetings, I'm Oz. Shad still isn't feeling very well.
It's getting better, though.
He's getting better.
It's getting better. Like
We went into his bedroom today and we said, Shad, are you okay? And he moved a finger to let us know that he's still alive.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's still alive, guys.
Still breathing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, welcome back to Night's Watch.
Yep.
We are
Night's Watch.
Oz and Nathan. That is
Yes.
our names, and we're here to review episode 3.
Episode 3
of Boba Fett. Now,
Boba Fett.
if you're new to the channel and you haven't seen any of our reviews, then go ahead and watch the other two.
Yeah.
But these are long-form, deep-dive analysis on basically every thought we have while watching the episode.
Should we sum up how we felt about the previous episodes really quickly before we...
Yeah?
So,
okay.
First episode, meh. Second episode, really like the sand people stuff.
Yeah, went from a meh to a meh. This one?
This one, didn't like it. Didn't like it at all.
Oh.
What about you?
There were parts in it that I was like, okay, I can see where they're going with this, but they were overshadowed by just blatant cringe, basically, is the best way I can put it.
Yeah, the cringe.
Like, there's some parts in this where I just go, oh, you guys are so close! And then just... the show was going in certain ways, it was like, okay, this is interesting. It actually opened really well, I think.
How did it open again?
They were talking about the different politics, who was in charge, what happened when...
Well, you say that, right? But, I mean, okay, so the part where he's like, he didn't want to name the Hutt, Jabba the Hutt, because he didn't want to insult him.
Yeah.
And then what did he say? He said, said, you know, something about fear.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I am insulted. I thought that was pretty stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, when they're like, the mayor has no power. Then why do you keep going back and forth to his place? Why is he able to call assassins on you?
So I agree with you. There's lots of things that we can point out here. There's issues.
Yeah.
I reckon, but the opening, okay, we'll just jump into it.
You jump into
it. So the opening where they're basically talking about the politics of the area. They explain when Jabba dies, so-and-so came in, and that he got a bit dismantled, and so he gave it to different families to organise different sections. I reckon this would have been great if it had been the opening of the first episode.
Yeah, probably.
It would have set up so much more. It would have made more sense because basically Boba's gone out to all these different people and spoken these different things, and now he's come back, and then he's like, so, what happened?
Yeah.
And then now they're starting again, and they're explaining stuff, so I think this should have been at the very start of this series.
Droid, tell me how this whole crime thing works.
Yeah. But then it would have made sense for him to go out and then start to talk to different families, because now he knows, okay, there's different ones I need to talk to, and I'm in charge now, so it's time for me to make my mark.
You see, that would make sense.
Yeah.
We don't get that.
So, okay, I give them a credit for bringing this up, but they lose that credit for having it in the wrong place.
Yeah, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Exactly. Okay, let's read some of my comments, shall we? Basically what I just said. And okay, during that, basically, that meeting, the Robert says that no one respects you. And it would make sense, for me at least, if that was the case if he hadn't gone out yet. So if, you know, he's not saying that, you know, you don't have a name, there's not legacy to you, it's that no one respects you because you haven't done anything.
Yeah, he's been too soft on everyone.
Yeah, but right now, by him saying that no one respects you, it's like, okay, well, he's already gone out and tried to get respect from other people. It again, the sequence of events is very scattered around, and I feel like if you just had a giant writer's board with the dot points, you could probably move things around a bit more clearly for it to be more cohesive and make Boba look more competent.
You know how he said, you can't rule, I don't want to rule with fear, I want to rule with respect?
Yeah.
I don't think you can have respect without fear. Because respect was invented by men, so we don't need to use violence. And so you can't have respect without fear of violence.
And even then, like, fear in its modern term is very, you know...
Yeah, oh, I'm terrified.
Fight or survive, you know, but in biblical terms, for example, like in King James Bible, fear can be changed with respect. It's like to fear God isn't so much as to literally fear him, but more to respect him as a higher being.
Yeah.
And again, that's why I think fear in certain aspects is important, because although you may respect someone, you still might fear on what they can do. That coincides with respect and power. Like, they're all three things.
You show respect to people that are on a higher rung in the dominance hierarchy, because it's the dominance hierarchy, because they can dominate you if they want to.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's a lady who's tall and blonde, I'm into that, right? But if it's Boba Fett, this short, aging Kiwi man who loves big sticks and laser guns, I'm going to respect him so he doesn't hurt me. Or not, and I'll be fine as well,
Yeah. So, again, I feel like this is a good scene, it's just in the wrong place. And then we get the guy that comes in for an appointment. Oh, not an appointment, sorry, because he didn't make one.
What's it all about making appointments?
I don't know, like, when Luke showed up in Return of the Jedi, it's just like...
You don't have Musa Jaka, you have no appointment. Now, when I do that, it's the most convincing impersonation you've ever seen, because I'm as fat as Jabba the Hutt.
It's not only the voice, it's the visual.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I look like a fat Salacious Crumb, I'm told. Salacious Crumb.
Like who?
Salacious Crumb is the little fella that's by his side, yeah. Just how he laughs,
True, you do have a goblin. Like, when you legitimately laugh, it is a...
Yeah.
But yeah, so this guy comes in and he's basically saying, hey, I am offended because you should be offended on your behalf because of...
Is this guy an SJW?
Yeah, I
He's offended on his behalf?
No, he's a capitalist, though.
SJW, yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know, Oz is very political. You can watch our other videos.
I am not political.
Just look at the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, in this episode. I'm just saying that if for people who are new to this, I know there's those of you who love and adore us. Just blank out for this moment. But for those who aren't, go watch the Lord of the Rings video.
Okay,
that's the best one to explain.
Wait a minute. Okay, so the Lord of the Rings video, it got political when Shad walked in. Before that, I was pretty timid.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
And then Shad came in like Tim Pool.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, people, because there'll be people who just watch this episode just because they have no idea who we are, and it took me a while to get into the groove of the politics, and so if they're
still
confused,
uncomfortable by it. You are.
Am I?
Yeah, dude. You're pretty based this morning. I'll give you that one. We had a good. We have good conversations here when we're meant to be working.
No, we have we can have micro breaks.
Yeah. Micro breaks.
It's not like back in the day when you and Ben would.
Me and Ben
would.
Like I had any choice in the matter.
You guys should have made those videos because you had such good discussions and they were so long.
They went too political. Anyway, we're going on a bit of a tangent here.
But it happens.
Shad's only allowed to do that. Okay? Okay.
Yes. And so this guy comes up and he's like, hey, there's these kids, they're ruining stuff. Although
stole my water.
They stole my water, my business. There's one thing that I have to point out. He's not an SJW. You know why?
Why?
Because he's like, they're half man, half machine. They're not half people. They're not half a human race or half alien. They're half man, half machine.
They're not any less of people because they've hacked off parts of their body.
Wait, no, but I'm just saying they're using the term man, not person.
We use people kind.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's just a little thing I have to point out. Whenever we go to SJW, there's just little bits there. I'm like, okay, if it was unapologetic, we wouldn't have that.
I didn't even say it this time. It was all this guy.
I know, it was all me. Because I'm preparing for when you go to say stuff. I am ready.
Okay. This guy can see the future. He knows what I'm going to say, apparently. I swear, every time you guys are like, oh, Oz, you be careful now. I already am, and you guys are the ones who come out and say it.
Yeah, because we're not used to the ones being put on a leash.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. There you go.
Well, you do it each night.
I told Shad not to tell you about that.
I didn't have as much sleep last night, so I'm a bit loopy.
Delirious, yeah.
So this guy comes in. He's a regular guy, basically. Nothing too out of the ordinary.
Not an alien. Finally, a normal human being.
Just a normal guy that's like, hey, I'm getting stuff stolen. You're the crime boss. I pay tribute to you.
Can you help me out?
Help me out. And if you do, I'll pay you double, which is fair enough.
That's more than fair.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All he's got to do is go scare some kids, which I have so much fun doing.
Yeah, like if it's The Godfather, for example, if you go to The Godfather and you're like, hey, Father, I need some help, but if you help me as well, I'll pay you double.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be like,
okay.
It's a really generous offer.
Dude, that was a great one. You do a great Marlon Brando.
I had to really try for that.
I watched a Marlon Brando movie last night. Apocalypse Now. Anyway,
So that's fair enough. And then Boba's like, all right.
And then the dumbest possible business choice he could have ever made happens immediately after.
Also, the dumbest choice for this series and franchise also happened. We
Yeah.
thought Jar Jar Binks was bad.
Yeah, cringe. You meant to say. We thought he was cringe.
Cringe. These kids. Okay. So I feel like they're trying to cater to the youth, the audience youth. You know, the hipster kids that are all angsty and basically the Gen Zs of who are watching Star Wars.
Even Gen Zs would have cringed to that.
That's the thing, though. It's like when you're a cringy teen, you don't know it. You think you're the coolest, hottest stuff ever.
Yeah.
But when you look back, or when you look at other people, you go, "Oh, that."
Yeah.
So it doesn't work because they're going to look at that character and go, "Oh, I don't correlate with them because that's not what I think I look like."
I'd rather go out in public what I'm wearing now than what those, hipsters were wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, they look very off-world.
Yeah.
Very out of universe, even.
They look like they're from Cyberpunk.
They're from another galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, where there's what stores do they have in America? Hot Topic and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's confusing, right? So they are very colourful, mint condition. Okay?
Wearing great clothing.
Great clothing.
Yeah, they are stealing water for survival.
They're unemployed. They're children on a desert planet.
Wait a minute. I just had a thought. That is the most accurate portrayal of a millennial I've ever seen.
And yet somehow they all have this rich, expensive lifestyle.
That's my point.
Yeah.
It's like, people will be homeless nowadays and they'll still have a $2,000 phone.
And a subscription to Disney Plus and Netflix.
Yeah, so in a way, we should redact, we should give points for that because it's accurate.
But it doesn't work in this world. But my comments was like, this is a modern attitude in a fictional world. They don't match up.
Okay, that's a good point.
Because when you look at Luke Skywalker, what he grew up in, he's just a simple farm boy who, did what he had to do. These kids look completely different. I know it's like, 10, 20 years later.
Yeah.
But still, not much has changed yeah.
It's actually
in a different climate, and they just seem so out of place.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's only like 5 years later.
Well, I'm just thinking of when Luke was a kid on Tatooine.
Yeah, which would have been 5 years before the events of this. 4 or 5 years. At the max 10, but no further than 10.
Yeah. So, again, they don't change that much. You have the decades, generations, but even then, I don't think the jump from some poor farm kid to these chromium junkies who look too clean, like they are unemployed, yet they look like they bathe and they just got out of the factory,
Yep.
They look fresh off the press. So, my biggest gripe is with them and their tech, and just it does not
cringy
fit.
they look.
Yeah, and even the way they... I mean, yeah, I think it's... I wouldn't say it's the actor's fault, because I'm sure if you got hired for Star Wars and you're like, yeah, I'm so excited! And then you go on the day and you see what you're wearing and what you're going to be and your lines.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, and that's how they act awkward.
They wouldn't hire me for Star Wars. They just use CG Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they just get the puppet from Outback.
Yeah. Tell you what, I think I'd do one of those great, those green pig guards? Yeah. All you need to do is just like throw some green paint on it.
Give you a loincloth.
I'll bring my own machete from work.
So, look, it doesn't fit the archetype of what a Tatooine kid would look like.
Oh, no. I mean, look at Anakin.
Yeah.
Dude was
And that was like, what, another 20, 30 years before Luke?
I guess, though, it's a different thing, right? Because, like, that was from a different time.
Yeah.
Like, back when... Like, think about it, right? These are homeless millennials with, like, brand new bikes and brand new clothes versus slave Anakin and his mother who owned their own home.
Yeah, and farm Luke, who just was isolated with his aunt and uncle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. But also, if you're, like, poor, I would sell my bike or my blaster or my nice clothing.
Yeah, but how are they going to... What are they going to do with it?
Heck, there's enough of them. Start a side hustle. I mean, even
Ray...
Ray...
They stole water.
Yeah, but that's not a side hustle. That's just stealing. Side hustle is just making a business.
You know what the
basically.
word hustle means, right?
Yeah, but it's modern context is a bit different now. Like, even Ray managed to make an income and get food, even though it was kind of basically slave labor.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on Tatooine.
They're on Jakku. Jakku's different from Tatooine.
No, I'm talking about the kids now.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, the kids now.
I was confused.
I mean, they're in a very prosperous area. I'm sure they could start
Mos Espa.
some sort of business of any kind, and then not just water. But yeah, we talked about, you know, they're workers that have no wages, and yet they look like rich kids with bad attitudes.
Very bad attitudes, yeah.
Um,
They say you're an old man to a bounty hunter who's been doing his job for a very long time. And then... Sorry, a cat fell over. And then he offered them a job.
Yeah, that's not how you get a job.
Why would you offer a millennial a job?
I mean, obviously Boba's, you know, really searching for people, but I think he scraped really low on the barrel
Yeah,
here.
especially since he's losing out on so much money, as well as a person who's like... He's alienating someone who pays him tribute.
Yeah, who
wealthy
came
merchant.
to him. Like, he didn't ask for it.
And then he tells the dude to lower his prices. Okay. He's like, oh, how much do they owe you? It was like 1,300 credits or something like that. And he's like, give him 500. You know, you're paying that much for water?
Yeah.
You didn't say how much water.
Yeah.
Could have been like 2 million gallons that they stole or something like
true.
that. You know?
They're like, he's charging a week's water for a month's wage. And it's like, okay, how much is the water?
How much is a week's water, yeah.
Is it actually how much you need to survive for a week? Or is it like how much water is produced within a week?
Yeah.
Or, you know, a range of different things.
Yeah.
I think, look, it's Boba trying to be the justice warrior guy, the man in the chair, being like, yes, these poor youths, they need to find a place to work, and you need to, you know, make stuff cheaper. But look, things in life are more complicated than that, and you don't know what domino effect that's going to cause on you in the long term.
Yeah.
You can't just change stuff like that so quickly, because maybe there's a reason why the guy was charging so much.
Yeah,
maybe
he's a water merchant on a desert planet, okay? Now, water is essential for survival. So unless there's a monopoly, there will be alternatives, okay? Especially since they have water reclamation stuff. They have things that can catch moisture from out of the air because they've got moisture farms.
Yeah.
There's going to be an alternative. Go to the alternative, and that guy's going to lose money unless he lowers his prices.
Also, these kids could be smart, and they could just go to the moisture farmers and just
Deal direct.
Cut out the middleman.
Yeah. Maybe the water's so expensive because Tatooine is a dangerous, dangerous place, and to collect that water is, you know...
And I'm sure with those nice chrome bikes, even with their all crazy upgrades, they could sell those parts, get a ticket off planet to go somewhere
With
more
water.
prosperous.
Yeah.
Even just go to like a Mandalorian, was it season 1 or 2, where they go to like that little farming planet's like all green and nice, and there's water nearby, and then that's where the...
Yeah, you don't need to come out being a millionaire.
You don't need to live in modern climates. You can just happily live on some planet and cut
they
down
have
wood.
all the technology to live. Yeah, once you can catch water out of the air, well, you're pretty much set.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Go live on Mustafar or something, you'll be fine. They got places.
Yeah, there's so many different things to do. So that's just, if we want to analyse the youths of Tatooine.
Yeah, they don't want to work anymore.
They're just there, yeah. And the way that Boba handles it, I think, is very poorly. And a real-world leader should not do something like that so quickly without doing more research. Because you just shot yourself in the foot, I think. But, you know, you got to have those youths to make it relevant, and you got to just give it... Look, I'm glad they gave it more depth to the situation, that it wasn't just, those crooks stole my water, and then Boba goes and they're crooks, and so he gets the water back, and that's it. I do like the fact that they actually made some effort to, okay, not only did they steal the water, there's a reason why they stole it, and so it's more politics and problems in the story.
But it was still like he alienates someone who's paying him tribute.
Yeah.
Came to him with a problem. These kids stole from me, can you please help?
Yeah.
You know?
I think the way he resolved it was poorly, and I don't agree with that, but I do... Kudos to the writers for giving this, like, problem more depth.
Yeah, I think they should have gone more middle ground, like, oh yeah, return the water.
Yeah.
There you go. Return the water. Hey dude, come on, lower your prices, that's expensive, blah 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 blah. But it's not just like, okay, here's a third of what you lost. Lower your prices.
Kids, you're coming with me.
Yeah, kids, you won't be punished.
No work experience, you don't know how they are as thugs.
They're great
thieves.
thieves.
They're just mean teens. And we do see in the later down the track how well they deal with combat, because it's not the best. But yeah, so that's that situation. He goes back into the bacta tank.
Yeah, why?
Has another... Because he's still healing from the wounds of the Sarlacc pit.
How long is he going to go in there for?
A few more episodes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I wrote that actually. Back to tank.
Back to tank. Yeah, that's funny.
Back to tank.
I do like how they at least opened the vision with him being back in Clone Wars, prequel trilogy time.
They've done that twice though.
Yeah, I just like it because it calls back to the prequels. And
they did that in the other ones.
But I'm glad because when Disney first got Star Wars, they were ashamed of the prequels, even though they didn't even do them. And they're like, original trilogy and our new sequels gonna be so good. But now they're trying to hide all the sequel stuff, and they're like, hey, remember when Clone Wars wasn't as bad as you remembered?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so look, I'm just glad that I don't know. You don't need to include it, like you could just ignore it, but I'm just glad they have that little scent of the prequels, because I do like the prequels.
Okay. And then it went back to the
the Sand People story.
I actually wrote good music in the flashback because I noticed the music this time.
Yeah.
The chanting sort of desert noises.
Do you like it as a bit of a vibe?
Yeah, it's a good vibe.
It gets me. Yeah, it's a good like war theme kind of.
Yeah, and you know how he took off on a bantha to go to the town. Why not use a speeder?
Oz, you pointed out something completely. I lost it. I didn't even think about that.
Didn't even think that?
I was like, man, when watching the bantha slowly go, I was like, I wonder if I could actually run or walk faster than a bantha.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, do they sit on that just because it means that they have to do less work?
I'm just thinking journey time,
Yeah,
He's
the
like,
speeder would have been a lot faster.
Yeah, okay, sand people, I'll be back in 20 minutes versus the bantha. Okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And by the time he got back, they were all dead.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're getting far ahead of ourselves there.
Also, he just left without any communication. So sometimes there's, like, much communication. I go do this thing and we have a great time. But it opens up with him just leaving.
Well, to be fair, it can be inferred that they had the conversation before.
Yeah, yeah. I just, as a viewer as well, I was like, oh, before he was a prisoner and then he stayed with them and now he's welcome to the tribe, but now he's leaving. So.
I honestly thought he was leaving for good then.
Yeah, same. It gave me the impression that they just sent him on his way. I like how when he goes into town, though, that they're starting to put stormtrooper helmets on pikes.
Yeah.
Because it helps us know that, okay...
Empire's gone now.
Endor probably happened. Battle of Endor. Although, Boba probably doesn't know anything that's going on with the Empire at all. And so... Would he probably... He looked at it and looked away. I thought he would do like a second look and be like, oh, that's odd. And then maybe figure out what happened with the Empire. But he doesn't, he just goes on his way. I guess, being a bounty hunter, if you're not contracted to do anything, you don't really care what's going on. But I feel like the Empire being destroyed would probably help make or break your business.
Maybe. Make smuggling easier.
Yeah. But yeah, Boba doesn't know nothing about it, and so I was like, oh man, if I was him and you saw stormtrooper helmets being put on pikes, I'd be like, what's that about?
Young man, what day is it?
Well, then he asks the Jawas, it's like, we're gonna go find the Zara. And they're both like, Wookiee! But he could have been like, why are the stormtrooper helmets just chilling?
Yeah. You know what he should have done?
What?
He should have grabbed one of those Jawas by the throat and said, where's my armor?
Yeah! But no, he's just like, hello, little Jawa.
I remember you're a wise and noble people.
You're much like the Sand People, right?
Give
me back my armor.
Yeah, exactly. Just kick him and, take him hostage. There's 2 of them there. Problem solved.
Easy. And when he goes in to talk to the fish people.
Yes, the catfish people.
I do appreciate that his lines are precise and threatening.
Yes.
They're not too, in other times we've seen him talk a bit too much, or the conversations kind of mumbled with him being like, do what I want, but also only if you want to, but you should do what I want because I can kill you. But in this time it's just like, I'm here to collect the bounty, or the money.
The protection money, yeah.
If you don't, it's going to be issues.
Yeah, and then the guy's like, he says, we're paying tribute to another person already, or not tribute, protection money.
Yeah.
We don't want to do it for 2 people.
And then Boba's like, I'll take care of it.
Yeah, like, he just goes to someone's place, like, expecting, all right, pay me money. And then they're like, oh, but I have a problem. Okay, I got it. Who works for who here? Is he a witcher or a crime lord, you know?
Well, maybe this is just my, fantasy trying to fill in the gaps. Maybe he's trying to start to become like a crime boss, but he's got that bounty hunter blood in him that he's just like, I'll deal with it. Like, he does whatever he needs to do to get that money at the end of the day.
But still, if he's trying to be a crime lord, he should be trying to be a crime lord.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be just doing what everyone tells him to do.
At this point, he isn't. I think
know, yeah.
at this point,
yeah, no doubt.
He just wants the money, and so he's like, I'll resolve this, which for me is just guessing that he's just going to go, boop, 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 boop. Although he doesn't have his armor or guns right now, so it's just going to be a stick. Lots of melee combat in this show, not many blasters.
He was fine the first time when he beats him up in a bar.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, he should have just killed him.
I mean, he basically, if you whack someone hard enough in the head...
Not me, my head's too tough.
I mean, if you grab them by the neck and just don't let go...
That will work.
That will work. Yeah, and so he goes back to the camp for the Sand People.
Yep.
It's funny, there's a part where, so he's riding the Bantha, he's got this hood on, and then he takes it off to see more clearly. But his hood wasn't covering him to begin with.
Mm.
It reminds me of when I'm trying to find an address and I'm driving, and I turn the music down so I can see better.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. You're trying to read, and you can't really read that well when your mind's distracted by music.
By music, yeah. So part of me is just like, oh, he took off the hood because he's like, oh, what's my environment right now?
Yeah.
I don't know, just a little quirky thing that was like, you don't need to take your hood off. That didn't need to be a shot. Look, it's a moderately sized camp because I've always been very skeptical about the size and how many. Because he says before that like we outnumber the other gang, we'll take care of them.
Did they?
That's what he said.
Mm.
But also, he took out the game before, and there wasn't that many. But also, as there more than one like biker gang, and to begin with, I like the pan out shot for him just standing there in the ruins.
Yeah, I actually took a screenshot of that and I wrote it down. 1552 was a pretty shot.
Yeah,
that's when it was.
It was a very good shot. I think what they should have done though too, when they zoomed out completely, you could see the edges of the camp. I felt like it was too small. I think if they just like cut away and stopped before you reached the end, then it would have gave me the appearance of more people, made it feel bigger because I felt this camp. The amount of Sand People in this tribe confuses me.
Same.
Because
Keeps changing up and
when
down.
they're together, it's very small, but then when they need to attack, they grow in numbers suddenly.
Maybe they've got multiple camps all over.
That's what I thought, but then wouldn't there be other camps he could go to then?
Maybe.
So, yeah, just little things that...
Maybe he will.
Not being inconsistent in that break away my immersion, basically. Like, if you just hid the amount that there were so you didn't have to be consistent, then I wouldn't be guessing all the time, okay, is this a big camp, is it a small camp? I don't know.
Well, Sand People do, walk in each other's tracks to cover their numbers. So maybe they, have smaller tents to cover their numbers. Who knows?
I thought about that, but then also as a Sand person, I wouldn't want to be squished up in a tent with all the other Sand People.
Yeah, it'd be really hot and sweaty, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Although I did see in the... Earlier on, I just remembered, the little kid, I saw he has like a little mouthpiece hole that he could probably drink something through. So that's something in a previous episode I was like, how are they drinking? At least that kid has a little suction hole thing.
Yeah.
Chief, not so much, but that's another thing. Then there's this whole burial process, this like mourning process. I'm so glad he did not cry. He didn't show any emotion. He didn't do a Wheel of Time land. Don't clip that! Don't clip that! No!
No.
No!
You sounded like Morty when you did that. Yeah.
There was none of that. He was very stoic about it. He just did what he had to do. There was a bit of water in his eye, like you could see his eyes were a bit wet.
Yeah.
But it was so subtle. If I wasn't so analytic on it, I would have just thought, wow, he's sad, but he's still controlled.
Yeah. I thought it was really sweet when he's burning the sticks and he's like, I remember this stick from when they first made me their slave. There you go.
Well, it was nice because he put the fighter's stick, like he threw it on, but then there's the kid's stick, and then he was just like gently laid it down. Where it's like it felt like it had come from a slave to an actual family tribal thing. Like he felt like he lost something.
And if he took the speeder, they'd probably still be alive because he would have gotten back that day. So
A lot sooner.
The gang was probably watching them for a while.
Yeah.
If they come back and happen to attack when he leaves, they probably saw him leaving on a bantha and thought, yeah, we have tons of time to do this.
Yeah.
Let's do it. He won't find out till next week.
The one dangerous guy that just left? Alright, we're good.
Yep.
So I thought that moment of him mourning and stuff, brilliant pacing, good story beats. Again, there was a moment when I was watching the show and I was like, oh, wait, I'm making notes. I'm trying to analyze this. It was a part where I started to get lost in the experience, which is good on the creators of the show. That is what we want.
Yeah, but now the best part of the show for me is gone. I love the Sand People.
Yeah.
They were awesome.
Yeah. It's sad. I wish they had been able to explore them more because they're very interesting. They're just enjoyable to watch.
They're a cool culture.
It's a Book of Boba Fett TV series. I want to see Boba with the people that he was meshing with.
They could have done some interesting stuff with them, but now they're dead. So
Yeah. I mean, I really liked your idea of them being like his mercenaries, basically.
Yeah.
Them
implementing them more into the Tatooine culture and crime stuff.
That would have been so good.
Yeah, it would have been like not fish out of water, but a bunch of fish into the water.
Yeah, we don't have any other canon stuff post original trilogy with Tatooine and Sand People.
Yeah.
You could have easily done it, implemented it, and then in future Star Wars stuff, it's like, oh, the Sand People are like integrated with people now. Why is that? And then you can talk about Boba, and then guess what? People who haven't seen Boba are like, oh damn, I want to see this like integration. Like that's such a good idea.
Most people at Tatooine think that the Sand People are just murderers and marauders.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how bringing them into the culture and so
yeah. And other times when we're watching the show, we will have a flashback, and then Fennec could be like, "Boss, wake up!" or he'll just wake up and do whatever. And so there isn't much of a cause and effect to go between the two. In this one, however, he gets attacked by a Wookiee, which part of me was like, "Oh no, we finished the flashback." But then I'm like, "Oh, this makes sense because he's dreaming about the stuff, and then he is jerked right out of that."
Yeah.
And it's a cause and effect, which I really like.
Man, it would not be fun to be jerked by a Wookiee.
It wouldn't be. No. You're right. It wouldn't be. But I think the Wookiee plays with him a bit too much in this.
Yeah, they always do that.
He throws him around, but really the Wookiee just gone and pulls his arm off, and then you're done.
Yeah, or just like turn the oxygen off on his back to tank and lock it or something.
Yeah, so many things.
Ways, yeah.
Or you're a big giant Wookiee, you can just.
Yeah, exactly. And hey, I was watching this and I'm thinking they look like they've copied this character design like exactly from Halo 2 Tartarus.
Yeah.
The big brute chieftain in Halo 2.
Oh yeah.
He's even got the gravity knuckle things. Anyway, that's just what it reminded me of.
That's a bit sus, I think.
Yeah.
It's a bit sus. Oh
man.
I don't even know what that word even says. But yeah, Wookiee plays around with them too much. And then his little squad comes in.
The posse.
This girl comes in with what I would call just the sissiest little knife.
Yeah.
To this massive Wookiee. No reach, and goes, ah! Oh no.
And then he's just like that, and then she ducks it. Boba can't do that? What, his back hurts too much? Come on now.
So dumb. But then, see, that little knife thing is basically a toothpick or a bread knife to that Wookiee.
Yeah.
It's tiny. And then this other chick gets this big banging thing, and then the Wookiee just grabs her and throws her away, which I'm like, okay, fair enough. If you got something with not much reach and you go in to get a Wookiee, the Wookiee's just going to grab you and throw you away.
Yeah.
Pretty easy done. But then the guy with the blaster, right? Blasters frustrate me right now in this show. He has a blaster, and he goes, pew, 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 on the one shoulder plate that the Wookiee has. Not the leg, not the head, not the chest. He just shoots repeatedly on the one piece of armor that deflects the... Why? Why?
Also, how come he can take a hit on the shoulder thing and not get, thrown back or have it penetrate or anything?
Yeah. And also, they don't come in until Boba is getting, choked out, basically. Boba had his arms up and he was trying to get the thing with the Wookiee, and the Wookiee's biting him, and he's basically going to pass out.
Should have gone for the eyes.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough with Boba. He's up against a Wookiee, for crying out loud. I remember playing Star Wars games and a Wookiee enemy comes up.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was terrified because Wookiees, I know how scary they are.
Big hairy
thingies.
Oh, come on, man! You got to roll your tongue a bit.
I can get on my tongue so much. But when the kids come in as well, they don't like rush in and go, Boba, we got you!
Yeah, they got one at a time.
The girl's like a fast pace, like a moderate pace.
Yeah, but they all go one at a time.
Yeah, they don't just...
that? They surround him, and he's like, oh. And then one attacks. Thrown away, one attacks. And you see it multiple times where they're just waiting for one person to get thrown away, then they attack.
That is what I call stupid. Bad choreography.
Yeah.
Like, the way that you want to do choreography is you still want that to happen, but you want to distract viewers so it doesn't look like that's happening.
Yeah. He's a Wookiee. He should be able to like knock 3 people over with one arm swing. You know, they could have just done that.
He can take on them all. Also, their weapons are just poor choices. This little knife, okay? Boba's got his guns and rifles and rockets or whatever. Just go to your boss's whatever and just do something.
And what happened too? He went over to it and he's over there for like a good solid 5 seconds while the Wookiee's slowly tracking over to him. He puts the thing on his arm
and then it
locks into place and then somehow it's off his arm.
Yep. Confusing, I know. This one guy, he has a electric chain, which one is like, I guess that could be effective if you wrap it around and electrocute him, but like, as your choice of weapon, poor choice of weapon.
Especially since, you know, you're made partially of robot parts.
Yeah. Electricity, yeah. Also, this is I'm so confused why these kids have melee weapons.
Yeah, give them blasters.
Just all have blasters. It's way more effective. And if you are going to have a melee weapon, have it like a big... You don't even... Okay, one thing that I wish they brought back in Star Wars, and this was in like Old Republic games and stuff, is they had sabers. Not lightsabers, but they had actual sabers and the course energy through them, or just have them as metal sabers. Have that.
Nope.
Like, it would have been so cool, but instead you got this little sissy knife and you try to stab this giant Wookiee with it.
And a gun that only hits armor.
Yeah, and just the way that they did the combat with him. And then the pigs show up.
Yeah.
And then the Wookiee just does a football tackle with them both down the stairs.
I won't lie, that was pretty cool. I liked that. I was thinking, he's just going to knock him away, but no, he full on tackled him down the stairs.
But when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is an argument I reckon so many fanboys have had through the years. Who would win in a fight?
Yeah. Who would win in a fight?
The pigs or the Wookiee?
Or Chewbacca or, what's his name? Boba, you know.
Boba, yeah.
Pigs,
just like stuff in general. Well, like I saw that, I'm like, yeah, dude, nerds are probably just like, actually, no, that's not how they would fight. Well, like, I think it was a pretty fair fight. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, but I think Wookiees are the superior. I mean, the guy's a gladiator, for crying out loud. A gladiator.
What was his name again?
I forgot.
Yeah, it sounded weird. Like, when I saw it spelled out, it looked like an alien name.
Yeah.
But when it was said, it sounded like someone's just full regular name.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like, yeah.
And so they have a good tussle, and then the kids show up again. And look, I understand what it's like to fight someone scary. We've both had duels with Shad, and when that man does his stance, you become a bit jittery. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
But if you're a hired thug or whatever, you should be a bit more confident in yourself. But these kids were like, it's a big scary Wookiee. And so...
To be fair, their only, like, work experience is they stole water from an old man.
I know, again, it's just poor choice of employment, I guess. But it frustrates me where you're like, your boss is in trouble and you're just... This is not the modern world, this is Star Wars. They should be tougher than this. This is Tatooine. If they've lived this far, and, like, they should have the experience on how to get through life.
Yeah. He should have gone to Mos Eisley to hire people.
Honestly.
Stronger, you know.
Honestly, could have done so much more. Also, I'm curious how the Wookiee got past them all, and then only when Boba was about to collapse, that's when they're like, oh no, boss is in trouble! And then they start doing a fight, and the pigs are like, what's all this commotion?
Well, he could have just snuck in, and then they heard the fighting.
Yeah. But, again, it's just... It would have been nice to have some sort of alarm system, or... You know, a lot of things in the show happened for the sake of convenience.
Yeah.
It would be nicer to have stuff that was a bit more cause and effect.
Yeah, maybe if they let, like, Boba get a shot off that missed with his rifle, that would have alerted all of them.
A loud noise, crashing down. And then just to show them being like, what's that? And then
well, to be fair, he did get thrown into his armor.
Yeah. Also, funny, when the kids were fighting back upstairs with the Wookiee grabs one of them and, like, Cicely tosses 2 of them together, obviously, because they're little weak kids, and so they're both like, ah! And then I'm like, okay, get back up and keep going, but they're out. They're, like, not getting up. And then Boba, good old Boba, he stabs the Wookiee in the back, and then the thing freaks out and just pelts him, and then he hits his head up against the bacta tank, and you're like, is Boba okay?
Yeah. Do you have any idea how hard it is to fight someone, not only when you're naked, but wet? Now, okay, I mean in this context, okay? I don't mean in any other context, so don't misconstrue that or read any,
In between the lines?
yeah, there's no double entendre there, okay? But seriously, it's difficult to fight people when you're naked and covered in water.
Yeah, he doesn't have his weapons or his armor, so the guy's a bit... He holds his strength up against a Wookiee despite all that. I'll give him that much.
Yeah.
But these kids, man, I would fire them on the spot and be like, or make them train for crying out loud. What were they doing when I was in my bank tank? Were they just playing cards or whatever?
Probably sleeping. Or
Sleeping?
watching Netflix.
No, or probably just, starting another side hustle. Investing in stocks or something dumb like that.
Getting into crypto.
They're looking.
Credits.
They'll look at how to mint their biometric parts so there could be NFTs or something dumb like that.
They were on TikTok. That's what they're doing.
That makes sense. Yeah, so these kids... Look, the pigs, I think they were like, okay, our boss is in trouble and they get into a good fight. But the kids, they don't act like it's an emergency enough. Your boss is getting attacked, act like it.
They're just so cringe. I don't like them.
Act like it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then the next day they have a massive breakfast banquet.
Oh, yeah, but just before we get to that,
Yeah.
when they're downstairs, Fennec shows up.
Oh, yeah.
Finally. And,
What was she doing?
Well, she does the same thing she always does. She pulled the little lever that made the trapdoor conveniently go down where the Wookiee was. And the Wookiee, I mean, I was pretty impressed how the Wookiee held on. I was like, okay, this dude's legit. And all the kids, the two main character kids are all on the pistol, one with the knife, are both like pointing at him. Like if he's going to get up, they're going to do the little jabby thing. And then Fennec grabs her rifle. I'm like, okay, she's going to shoot him. No, the little knife in the back, grabs it out and goes, "Wha-ting!"
Right into his hand.
Right into his hand. She's like over there. Does a throwing knife. The kid could have just stepped on his foot. Would have been fine.
Yeah, I was just more impressed that they managed to corner the Wookiee directly on top of the trapdoor, which looked to be about exactly the right dimensions for him to just fit through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine if it was just one leg? Half his body would have fallen in. Probably would have grabbed one of the kids and
pulled them down and got
Yeah.
up. So again, another convenient thing. And you know what? If they had done something like that, it would have made the fight more... given it more stakes in the fight. Because if the kids are in danger, then they've got to actually work around the fight, where so far they just get hit, and then they get hit, and then it's just back and forth. There's I know no one's going to die or anything bad's going to happen in the end.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, it's Star Wars.
Yeah,
the
true.
plot armor is intense for this show.
Well, I mean, the plot armor wasn't for anyone intense.
But I knew that too, as I was like, okay, when they died, I wasn't at all surprised.
Yeah,
It was very much a cliche. They were what's it called? When they die for the character.
Fridged.
They were fridged. The same people were fridged, and no one's upset about that.
I don't like the fact they were killed.
I'm upset too.
So the next day they have the big breakfast banquet.
They do. You know what?
And they completely waste it.
Yeah.
Why not have the rest of the gang in there eating as well? Could have showed them off to be starving kids. They just go, you know.
Yeah. Heck, even let the pigs do something.
They're pigs. They're hungry.
But I will admit, alien food looks good.
Yeah. Also, you know how there was that little monster that ate the bird that was eating another thing?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was in there.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks good.
They said something really dumb in that. So they're like, the Hutt sent him to kill you, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, I have to send a message.
Yeah.
She's like, no, wait until they show their hand. For what? Right? The fact that she said that, you'd think that would lead to something, right?
Yeah.
But no, because the next scene, the Hutts are like, we're leaving.
Yeah. Well, see, my comment on this is I feel like Fennec and Boba are never on the same wavelength. Either one is like, hold back, we need to wait our turn, or whatever, that was too heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Or the other one's like, let's go show them what we're made of. We're gonna
and they're just
intimidating.
crossing tracks each day.
They're going back and forth, where one's trying to do something, the other one's like, no, you're going too far. And so, despite being two bounty hunters, they're not very in the same mindset.
Yeah, and it's completely inconsequential, the discussions they have, and they're just completely inconsistent about what they're going to do. It's like one day, like you said, keep changing what they want to do. Yeah, don't kill them. Yes, let's kill them.
They're not very consistent. They keep swapping
Tracks.
their like morality choices.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Hutts show up and they have come with a gift and an apology.
This part really annoyed me.
Yeah, I want you to go on a tangent for this one.
So, one night you send the Wookiee to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
The next day you come and say, "Oh, by the way, we're leaving. Here's a gift." Like, what? What's the logic there?
There is no logic there.
There's no logic.
See,
when did they find out they were going to leave? You know? So stupid. And also, right, if you find out you're going to leave, why show up with a gift, especially when you've just tried to kill the guy? Why give him... Just leave.
Just leave.
Yeah, he's got a Wookiee now, you know?
See, when this stuff happens, that's when I'm like, okay, my guess is what the Hutts want to do is there's lots of infighting happening in the area, and they're like, okay, two parties are going to try and... There's going to be a civil war, basically. And they're like, we're going to be a part of that. We're going to step out for a bit. Once the war's over, we'll come back and whoever's in charge there will either wipe them out. Or, I think in this instance, they think Boba is a better ally than the other people are. Spice traders and whatever. And so I think what they've done is they've given him a gift. They said, you know, they probably didn't go and talk with the other people about anything.
Yeah, you say that, but that night they sent a Wookiee to kill him.
To kill him, because they're like, hey, if we can take out him, it's fine. It didn't work.
But you said they thought he'd be a better ally, so why would they try to kill their ally?
Again, that's just a flaw in my logic that, you know, I'm trying to make up for. But I'm trying to
That's
make up
fine.
for the fact that why are the Hutts gifting him stuff and then leaving?
Yeah, I know. At least you're trying, okay? So
Yeah.
that's why I'm not going to, you know...
I'm trying to figure out a way, because if this was me and someone tried to kill me and they're like, yeah, sorry we failed about that. Do you want, like, a big monster? I'd be like, no, because it's probably going to kill me as well.
Yeah. And then the Hutts are like, oh yeah, the Wookiee, sell him back to the gladiator pit.
Yeah, like, he's yours.
You know what I'd do right then and there?
What?
I'd unchain the guy and be like, hey, do you have anything to say to these guys?
Yeah.
Do you want to kill them with your bare hands because you're a Wookiee? I'll let you go.
And there's no defense there. Like,
Yeah.
they're just in... That's another dumb thing. They should have, like, actual bounty hunters or something there to protect
They should,
them. Because you're going up against a bounty hunter, two, and a giant Wookiee who probably doesn't like you anymore because he's imprisoned, and you're just two big slugs on a giant pedestal.
And also, you don't even need to shoot the Hutts to kill them. Just shoot the people holding them up.
And then they just tumble over
Just
each
shoot
other.
through them, then they'll fall over and die.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's really dumb as well. Like, if I was Boba, I would not be trusting them at all. So yeah, it's very confusing. I'm trying to make up things in my head that will explain the situation.
It doesn't make any sense. It's completely nonsensical.
You can find flaws in everything I try to make up.
Not your fault though. You're trying to correct jigsaw puzzles that don't even fit together. You know, so
because the Hutts say that they're okay with the mayor taking over, but they don't like Boba. Yet they always talk to Boba and try to like have a good relationship with, well, not good, but they try to negotiate with him.
Yeah.
The mayor, they didn't say a thing. So part of me thinks either that the Hutts are controlling people who are doing the spice, like it's a much higher up the chain thing, or they just don't know. That's why I said that these Hutts are really bad business people, because they're like, war's no good for business. I'm like, you're a crime business.
Yeah.
War and crime are
violence.
pretty violent, so you would probably go pretty good in the business. So, yeah.
Apparently not. No, Disney wants us to believe that you should give gifts to your enemies that you've just tried to kill, you know, and then leave.
And as well, they're like, so they respect the mayor. They're like, he's going to take over. What has the mayor done compared to Boba? See, Boba, he was in the Clone Wars. He was a bounty hunter. He is the son of the person who they made clones off of, so you know he's a pretty dangerous fellow.
Yeah.
He tracked Han Solo and put on Carbonite. He went up against a Jedi. He's now escaped a Sarlacc pit, which is basically where your other cousins sent people to die a painful death.
Yep.
But you're more afraid of the mayor, who doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So
who they even said the mayor has no power.
Yeah.
So, you know,
okay, cool.
How is he able to delegate things if he has no power? Stupid.
Yeah, there's lots of dumb things.
Oh, and then Danny Trejo shows up.
Oh yeah, that's true. But then they're like, we are leaving, and so should you.
No. That's what I'd say. I'd say no, and I wouldn't let them leave either. They've come here unguarded. I'd take them prisoner. What are they going to do about it? I've
Well,
now
okay,
got two of the I've got two of the only powerful Hutts left, apparently.
Apparently?
Well, I mean, like it's the isn't it the brother and sister, or is it the cousins of
So
Jabba?
they're two cousins, and they're cousins with Jabba.
They're brother and sister.
I thought they were cousins.
No,
because I thought
they're twins.
I thought that, but then maybe I've just written the subtitles wrong. Because he's like, my cousin here, but maybe he was talking about...
No, they're called the twins.
Okay, yeah, no, makes sense.
So take them prisoner, and now you have two rivals that are very powerful in your dungeon.
Hutts are very powerful. And, like, the way that they speak, they sound very threatened about the civil war that's happening. That they're afraid of what's going to go on with the spice trade. But Jabba wouldn't have had any of that. Why have you not... Like, when Hutts come in, it should be, okay, my cousin's area, this was his, we're going to take it back, and we're going to do it the same way that he did. Like, this just makes Jabba look more ruthless, but it makes them look more weak, and, like, why are you... These giant slugs shouldn't be in power if they're so soft-boned.
Yeah, they're so soft, aren't they?
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah, send Wookiee to kill Boba at night. The next day they apologise, pay restitutions, and leave. So stupid.
And they then pay tribute to him, but they don't see him. As what is the Daimler?
Yeah. The whatever the word
What
is.
do they call it? It's like, this is a tribute to you, but we don't see you as this.
Yeah, so stupid.
It makes no sense what we're trying to do.
And the Hutts tell him the mayor has promised the area to the syndicate, right?
Yeah.
How can he make promises if he doesn't have any power? How can he promise the whole area if he doesn't have power? It makes no sense. Someone's seriously misinformed.
Also, okay, they give away the Wookiee. Man, it's...
No hard feelings, eh?
Okay, look, I can kind of sympathise with Boba. Because, man, he was ripped off with Jabba. He was kind of annoyed at Jabba the way that he was...
Yeah.
Invader and stuff.
Like, letting him go, fine. He was under orders, right?
Yeah.
That's still very
like, he was
liberal,
doing a job.
right? But at the same time being like, no hard feelings, eh? Dude, he was the one that did bad by you, you know? He tried to kill you at night time when you tried to take
so
a
there's
nap.
going to be bad feelings there. I just think it's done for the Hutts to be like, doing whatever. Like, he was ours, but you can keep him. It's like, that is... take him with you. You don't have anyone protecting you. And why are you giving away free stuff?
Yeah, twice over.
Twice over to this guy that
Three times over, actually. Gave him free information, too.
Yeah, and they don't...
It makes no sense.
It's... Yeah, the numbers don't add up. That's all I can say. Like, I guess Boba would give sympathy to the guy, but, yeah, being like, no hard feelings, I wouldn't think Boba would ever say that to anyone.
He said it to a dog. I guess a Wookiee is just a really big dog, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But... yeah, I think Boba would just be like, go on your way, I know the business. Make him see, like, because, you know, he still needs to look intimidating.
He should have said, okay, you can leave and go on foot in the desert if you want, covered in fur. Or you can have a job. You want a job?
I wouldn't hire him, though.
Why not?
Because he tried to kill me.
He hired the two pigs and they tried to resist him.
True, I guess if he's done that, then, you know...
Hire this dude. This dude took on all of his guards.
Don't hire the other sissy teenagers.
Yeah.
Hire this guy who actually took him out.
Yeah, and they'd be like, hey, you got any cuzzy bros that can come work for me too? Pay you well. That's yes for Wookiee.
Oh, okay, so he gets a Rancor. And you heard it here first. Rancors are emotionally complex creatures in the year 2022. Back in the 80s, they were just a big scary monster, but now they're emotionally complex.
Well, look, it is preachy, and I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
But at the same, like, if this happened at any other time, if this had come out back in like the 2000s when the prequels did, I'd be like, yeah, cool. But now it's obviously because it's like they got the whole agenda thing.
Yeah, mental health, and you know, even a big scary monsters have to have a reason why they're angry.
Yeah.
They can't just be bad because they're bad.
Tell you what does make sense though
What?
is Boba being like, "Oh, hey, little big fella, give him a scratch." Like, yeah, if I saw a Rancor who was sleeping, I'd do the same thing. Like, I'm not being stupid, right? But if I like big dogs, I like, you know, even bears, I'd be tempted to go and pat, even though they'd literally eat me alive.
Be a good way to go.
Yeah. No, it's not. No, it's a very bad way to go. They will literally just knock you down, put their hand on your chest, and then start eating your arm. and there's nothing you can do about it.
True.
Yeah, so Rancor depressed.
Yes, Rancor depressed, and going back to what Boba said outside, Fennec's like, do you think like what they said is true? And Boba's like, no, they'd benefit from their enemies fighting one another. So at least Boba isn't being dumb. He's still being very skeptical about what. I don't think he should accept the Rancor.
Why
Maybe because I don't. If the Hutts are gifting you something,
Yeah, that makes no sense. Yeah,
you don't want to accept the thing from someone who's obviously hostile to you.
the fact that they showed up that morning though, unguarded,
Yeah.
I'd be questioning either their intelligence or their sanity, because that is the dumbest thing you could do to the guy you just sent a Wookiee to murder in his own home.
Also, Jabba would like send out bounty hunters and do all sorts of things to other people. These Hutts are like doing in-person visits.
Yeah.
And they're like...
Because that's how crime works, apparently. You do all your own legwork if you're the boss.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Nah.
You sit at home, you know...
delegate.
At your granddaughter's wedding, and people come to you... I can't do it as well as you. Anyway, you don't do your own legwork.
Yeah.
Others do it for you.
Exactly. But even the Hutts, even the twins, they do everything. Well, they don't, though, because people underneath them have to carry them around all day.
Yeah. No, I get... Well, they're going to their... You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Don't be difficult.
No, but I'm saying that like those poor servants probably were like got the job. They're like, oh, okay, we do it on special occasions when they go to to the races or whatever. No, it's like every single day.
You know what the case probably is like they've probably got like anti-grav generators under there. They're just pulling it is all. Like
I thought about that because some of them really don't look like they're struggling.
Oh yeah.
But then you see, I remember when they were standing there, one guy, he's just like. He does this little, like, he's dying.
It's really funny if it was Xerxes from 300 instead. Bow down to me. He's a big boy. Anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm glad Boba isn't naive, even though he does make naive decisions.
All the time.
All the time.
He says naive stuff.
Yeah.
And then they go in to see the mayor.
Yeah. Go Power Rangers!
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
when they're all
in
the line. Also, the chick, she has like 10 bajillion review mirrors on her bike.
Yeah. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves
like,
though, right? We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
Because when they decide they're going to go see the mayor, the droid comes out and says, he's booked for the next 20 days. And then, oh man, Noah. Badass that he... Not Noah. What did I say?
You said Noah.
What's his name? Boba.
Boba, yeah.
Cut out the Noah. He's my friend on Discord. He's into guns. Anyway, Boba is just like, badass that he is, I'm not waiting for an appointment. Oh!
Even though you expect appointments?
That is so disrespectful.
That is a rebel right there.
Yeah.
That is a bounty hunter criminal scum.
Yep. Oh man, that's too much for Mos Espa, man.
Yeah, dude, I don't think they're ready for him.
They're not ready for him. They've tried to kill him several times, and he's let them go, but they're not.
And you know what?
Him.
He's shown them so much sympathy just by breaking this appointment, ideology. They're going to just be in shock and horror when he comes up and he doesn't have his ticket.
Imagine, right? You're in a doctor's office, okay, and the doctor comes out. And he's like, "I'm here to see this person." And then a guy in fully plated armor with a gun shows up, and actually, you know what? Now that I explain it, it does sound pretty. Okay, maybe it was a bad.
Look,
I'm not waiting for. I have a headache now. I want to see a doctor.
See, I feel like you can still convey that message in a much cooler way.
Yeah.
He's like, we're not waiting.
They could have been like.
Or just say, no, we're leaving now.
Set an appointment, no, we don't want them to see us coming. Something like that. Oh, so stupid.
Or just be like, no, I think it's now time for us to make a visit.
Yeah.
Like, something that doesn't have the word appointment in it, and us being like, oh no, we can't, what are the policies and procedures? We can't, you have to follow it to a T.
I'm not even going to sign in when I get there. I'm not wearing a mask this time. I'm even bringing my unvaccinated teeny boppers. What a badass! Oh man.
Yeah, but you talked about this before, but when they go in and they ask for or just to see the mayor, and then Boba's like, we want to see him, And then they're like, ah. And then Fennec's like, no, we're going to see him. And then Boba was all like, that's a bit heavy-handed. Boba, before you're like, I'm not waiting for an appointment. Fennec, that's a bit heavy-handed. We should have just scheduled for next week. Again, they're out of sync with what they want to do. Like, before Boba was like, we should go in, see what they're doing. And Fennec was like, no, we should wait and see what the Hutts are going to do. Yeah. And then switching to this one, Fennec's all like, alrighty, let's do this. And Boba's like, chill.
Yeah, it would have been heavy-handed if she was like, she pulled out the gun, and shot 2 people, and there was like, we're seeing him or something like that. Yeah. Or even if she pulled out the gun and pressed it to this weird alien's head and said, Charge the mayor! That would have been heavy-handed.
Like, if she went just a little bit psycho.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to see
a little bit
Fennec
sicko mode.
Just a bit like, you want to see what I could do?
Say what again?
Oh. Gosh, we should make our own show, man.
Yeah, true.
Give us an IP and we'll work with it.
No. We're going to lead by example and make an original IP.
Oh, okay.
We're not going to take something else.
Well, we'll get inspiration from, Warhammer and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Take it from everything.
Yeah,
man.
take it from everything. But we're not going to be shilling people on the, hey, this is the book series now live action or whatever.
Yeah. Nathan Fillion will be in it. Yes. I don't care if he's old.
Yes. No, he's a beautiful man.
He is.
So that happens, and then they try to go in. Fennec does a little knife thing where she's like, I'm going to hack the system by stabbing stuff because melee's important in this series.
They missed a really important opportunity. They could have just had one of the droid people, his droid sidekick, come over and just be like, dunk, diddle, bing, done,
Or you can just go to the receptionist and be like, open the door.
Yeah, he was like, I don't have a... What?
The man works at the reception, he probably knows where to go, or he'll be like... Because the thing is, they're in the back, and the guy's just like, okay. And, keeps working. But there could have been like, or open this up, or he'd be like, nah, he's leaving, he's running away, the mayor isn't here. Because he obviously knows. And it's Jeff from down the street, I'm sure he'll tell you.
Yeah.
Because he's a wife and kids. And he doesn't want to get in trouble.
So he's just like, sorry, only my manager's allowed to open that door. He looked like the kind. He looked like a bloody truck stop clerk. You should have seen Shad just then. Shad was about the glasses open. Shad was about to come and he's like, and I was like,
oh.
Anyway,
that would have been. So, see, there's elements...
just thinking, right? It's like, open this door. I'm actually on my break, so... I can open it in 5 minutes, but...
See, that would have been funny. Cut all the other humour crap with the ADHD teens.
You can even keep...
Give it that guy.
Yeah. You can even keep some of the crappy lines like, open the door, I'm actually on my break, and then Fennec pulls a gun.
And goes freaky on him.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, that's a bit heavy-handed.
Yeah.
He was on his break.
You're about to be on a broken leg if you don't look out.
See, that was us talking for 2 minutes. If you get some of these scenes and you just get some different people to look at it, and have some fun with it and workshop it, you would have so much better engagement. And people would criticize some things like the flaws of scene with the Hutts and the whole purpose behind that. I just feel like there was so much blinders on with the story, they needed to workshop so much of the scenes for it to make sense.
Yeah. And so that was pretty much the last thing that I wrote down for the thing, because I died of cringe in the car chase.
Oh, yeah, so the car chase happens. It's not a car chase. I got a name. I got a name for the kids' speeders.
What?
They're bumper cars. They're like little bumper cars.
Yeah.
So after we realize that the guys run off, we then witness the slowest speeder chase. Ever in Star Wars history.
Yeah. After just giving us that train robbery.
Yeah. The fastest.
Yeah.
Train robbery of all time. You give us the slowest speed chase. You know how slow it was, Oz?
How slow?
Our title intros have more motion blur than those speeders do.
Nice.
And when the camera was static, not moving, the speeders were going... And for the guy who was going so slow, that man could not drive. He was
Yeah.
going very slow, but he was bumping into everyone and everything. It was embarrassing. I don't think he has a license. He was just like running off.
Stole someone's car.
Yeah,
Speeder.
yeah. Like a motion blur and the poor choice of camera angles make this a poor excuse of a chase.
Yep.
Was my comments right there.
Imagine thinking a bunch of children chasing someone on speeder mopeds
Yeah,
would be cool.
it's not.
It was like they should have played some Macklemore in the background too.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine if they had angsty teen music? Alien music?
Imagine
imagine...
that, like, Alien My Chemical Romance or something. Evanescence, Wake Me Up.
Imagine if they had the bar thing, the do 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 do, and they're like, oh,
Don't
what?
step it.
No, no. Again, why didn't you include that? That would have been so good. No, but they could have been like, oh, what's this like nostalgic retro crap? Like, it could have been like, this is old stuff.
Yeah.
Put on something new.
They could have. That would give them some personality.
Yeah.
You know, if they're young, so like, yeah, put on a good song for us to do this car chase.
Like, you know, do a whole Spider-Man. You know, hey, have you guys seen that old movie, Rise of Empire or whatever?
Well, that would have. Yeah, but I mean, like, you know, it's like we can't have a car chase with this music, and then they swap to, you know, Mos Eisley Station instead.
Yeah, or something. Just and we'll make it cooler. Like, your guys can hardly catch up to the car, and when they do, then they either get
Kick
the
it.
extension with a little phone thing and go, ha, 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 ha. It's basically like getting a key and keying a car.
Yeah, imagine if, like, I'm in a car chase, right, and instead of, you know, I'm on a motorbike pulling out a blaster and shooting him, I just get a little lighter and I'm just like, ha, ha, ha.
Vandalism!
Yeah.
Or they, like you said before, they like bash it or hit it or whatever. Or, you know, you could jump onto
Yeah.
the vehicle and be like, stop the car.
Yeah, or pull out a blaster. They had a blaster.
Yeah, and the guy's a sissy. I'm sure if you just pointed at him and do a few warning shots,
the guy's
he'd be
crying
like,
all the time.
all right, cool.
Yep.
But yeah, as before, the chick has a bajillion rearview mirrors.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, it
At
doesn't make
least
any sense.
in other, and we see this in later episodes with the vehicles and stuff, everything has a purpose and it makes sense and it looks cool, not only because of the rule of cool, but also because it's functional.
Yeah, it does make sense to have that many mirrors. How self-obsessed can you be?
And
That's funny for me asking that.
but yeah, and there was another dumb thing where a guy, I guess it was a gag, and maybe if I learn more about the gag, I'll find it funnier. But there's these two guys holding a painting of, like, I think it was Jabba or one of the Hutts, going back and forth, and the speeder goes straight through it. And I was like...
That's a callback to, like, older
Yeah,
movies.
I know, but I'm like, this is Tatooine. But it's not. Like, I feel like Mos Espa is a lot more higher class than Mos Eisley.
Yeah, it seems so. Even though, why was Jabba in Mos Eisley in the first Star Wars movie if he didn't have dominion over it?
Yeah,
I thought that was meant to be a wretched hive of scum and villainy, but there's more uptown part of...
Very uptown. And we do see as well, like near the end, they've got like a whole Starship class transport system going around here as well. But yeah, he crashes into one of the paintings and then he just very gimmickly glides into a table and is like, whoa!
Yeah.
Like, I've been on a bike, okay, I know how easy it is to fall off those things. But it's a speeder that probably can self-correct itself, and I mean...
It happened to me once. I was once riding to school, and, you know, you stand up on your bike. Pulled the brakes too hard, the front brake.
Oh, and you just went...
Yep.
You weren't going.
Yeah.
Wow.
It hurt. Landed.
Yeah, basically, the rest of my comments are like, just, what is this scene? What is happening? Why are they so fast and so slow?
For a public servant, this guy is causing a lot of property
Yeah,
damage.
he crashes into, like a water tower, a full food market,
Well, if they don't spend their budget that year, they won't get it next year.
So he just goes around once a year to, like, wreck everyone's property, and then is like, all right, now we can get more budget for next year.
Yep.
And then Boba shows up with his jetpack, just goes, shoo! So you know what that proves?
It works.
It works.
It just works.
It works now. And then he's like, okay.
You know, all of the jetpack working would have been useful so many other times in this
series so far. Yeah. But only now when it's convenient. At least they didn't teleport him. He used a jetpack at least.
Yeah, true. That's a good point.
But yeah.
Well, That's the episode.
That's the
whole
episode. Yeah, that was the episode. It was
Wait, but what did the guy say? Did the guy say anything when he got caught?
Yeah, he was like the mayor isn't here. He's
Yeah, no. Of course, the mayor's not there.
but he's like he's not away for 20 days. Like he's in hiding and stuff, basically.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
because he wasn't in his thing.
Yeah,
it's like I knew that. Give me something better.
Yeah.
And then, like, as I'm holding a gun to him,
thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah.
Like,
then Fennec comes in and he's like, "That's a bit heavy-handed, don't you think?"
Yeah, Fennec's just like,
and then he's like,
"Boba, calm down. We need to wait.
And then
see
he's
what
like,
he does."
He's like, "Yeah, that's right." Puts the gun away, and then Fennec pulls the gun up, like, "Tell us where he is." That's a bit heavy-handed, don't you think?
And then Boba goes, "Wait, alive."
Oh man.
Oh, see, as much as some of these things make me cringe, I have fun doing these reviews.
It's so dumb.
It's
so dumb. This show. So, no more sand people, and they're my favourite part.
Yep.
You know, even in this episode, they were my favourite part.
Yeah.
You know?
Sad. So sad.
Yeah.
But that was our deep dive analysis on episode 3.
Mm. You know why I really like the sand people part?
Why?
Because I see a Kiwi walking around in the desert, and I'm thinking, yeah, I relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, leave us your thoughts if you thought it was a dumb episode. If you enjoyed it, let us
know.
Defend your opinion, basically.
Yeah. Do you think Boba was a bit heavy-handed in this episode?
Or do you think Fennec just used too many melee weapons?
Yeah.
What are the Hutts doing? What are they doing? Because no matter what I come up with, Oz can always pinpoint a flaw in it.
Yeah, I'm great at pointing out flaws. I never take any of the advice. Anyway, we are, and will continue to be, Night's Watch. You can finish the sign out.
Stay watchful. And we cut this out really quickly. We don't pass.
But we're not going to do it this. No.